We are now live.
Welcome to another episode of the Mel Kel Show. I'm Melvin Jackson Jr.
And I'm Kelly JENRETTE.
And we are the Jacksons. Thank you once again for tuning in. We're going to have an amazing show once again. Have two phenomenal women coming through. You're about to be blessed today. One happens to be her mother, aka my mother-in-law. And another one happens to be a good sister friend of ours, ENDYIA KINNEY Stearns. So stay tuned. We're going to be going in real soon. Hey, there, I think that's him.
There he is. Where is he? Right there. We're up. It says you're unable to join. So, Kinney. Okay, let's try one more time. Go live. Okay. Hey, Donia.
Here I am.
Uh-oh.
Hello.
Somebody has that phone.
Oh, Kim, yeah, you're gonna have to go somewhere else because it's doing the echo. Okay, she turned it off.
Hey, Mama.
Hello, Melvin. Hi, Kelly.
We still
Hey.
here.
Okay. All right.
We still here.
Yeah, we still hear it. We still hear the echo.
They still hear the echo.
She don't have to be next to you.
Huh?
She doesn't have to be next to you.
She's coming right here. Then she can hear it without. Huh? Oh. Okay, so are we live?
Yes.
Yeah, we are.
Oh.
That's why we want. I don't know why we still hear the echo.
It's because the phone is sitting on this thing.
Oh, is it because it's sitting on there? Oh, I can take it off of there.
Okay. Yeah, that's better. But now you're sideways.
Right. So just take it off of here.
But either way, the phone.
Actually, let's try. Hello?
Yeah. Is
Yeah.
that better?
That's much better. Great.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Hey, mommy.
Hi, Kelly. Hi, Melvin.
You look
Is that
fabulous.
echo now?
No,
you're
no
great.
echo.
Okay, good. I tried to get it set up. Okay. So, what's up?
So let's get right into it.
Oh.
Let's do it.
Was Kelly always this? What's the
Sassy.
word? Sassy, crazy, silly.
And let's be very clear that my mom is in Atlanta, okay? And when this live is over, you will still be here with me, or maybe he too will be coming to Atlanta. You can answer.
Yes, she has always been this way, for sure. I'm trying to think of who it was who made the statement once, Kelly, that they kind of felt, sorry for the guy that marries you because you were something else.
I believe that was Mr. Chubbs.
Yes,
who said that.
it was.
Mr. Derek Chubbs.
And even back then.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Now let's ask some great questions. What do you love most about me?
So
I heard my sister.
Kind of vain, right?
what do I love most about you?
No, I'm just kidding. You don't have to answer that.
Okay.
Now, what were you about to say?
That smile.
Huh?
That smile.
Thank you. I get it from my mama.
Yes, you do.
See, so I'll tell people, my mother doesn't think that we look alike for whatever reason. I don't know, but you all can let us know in the comments if you think I look like my mother.
And let us know if you have any questions that you want to ask Kelly's mother about Kelly or
Melvin.
Or Melvin. I know
Or
you.
Melvin.
Oh, now Melvin.
So what did you think of Melvin when I first introduced him to you?
He was very mom and dad, and so he was very loving, warming, and I was good with that. Now, Carlton was a little, because that's who he is.
Yeah. So what Melvin thought that he could do to my dad, who is a retired police officer, big guy. Like all of my boyfriends, well, not all of my boyfriends, because I only had one boyfriend in high school, but all of my male friends were always very afraid of my dad. So Melvin had just met my dad, and the first thing he says to my dad is, "Hey, Dad." That did not go over too well.
Right.
But I made it through.
Yes,
Here
you
we
did.
are.
And here we are.
Yes.
So I would like to ask you, as a mother of an artist, what is your biggest challenge?
Oh, Kelly, you know what my biggest challenge is? It's trying to make myself watch and enjoy shows that you auditioned for and told me you auditioned for them and you didn't get them, because then I want to watch them. And then, of course, something that you're in, I just watch it over and over and over again.
Mhm.
So, yeah, but I'm doing better. I'm doing better.
Yes, you are doing better. And it's Mrs. Phillips. I see somebody keep saying
They
JENRETTE.
spelled Jenrette wrong. Listen.
I wasn't gonna call you out like he just did. I was just letting you know. She goes by Mama Phillips as well, so that's fine.
Well, don't call her mom as soon as you meet her. That's
no,
for me.
People are fine, but you don't put that on nobody else. That's all on you. So what is some advice that you would offer to parents who have children that may be interested in getting into the entertainment industry?
Well, definitely, depending upon the age of the child, I would ask the parents to be very, very careful in how they go about handling the child and who the child is with. You were always performing, but as far as actually leaving, going out on your own, you were an adult by that time. So I think just support them in any way that you can. Always be there, always be positive with them, and realize that what I think and what I see may not be the true reality for the industry. But just be there and be supportive no matter what. That's the biggest thing.
I am Rev T. Chantel. She said, "I remember Kelly and Miss Phillips from the Ray." I'm trying to look at your picture.
But while you look at your picture, I'm going to ask the next question. What was one of your proudest moments of Kelly?
Well, of course, the Emmy nomination had to be one of my proudest moments. But I think one of my fondest moments, and she probably does not agree with this, it was when she was at Lakeside High School, and she was in a pageant, and she came out and she sang "The Wind Beneath My Wings." And she pointed at me as I was sitting there. She said, "I love you, Mommy." And it was just the most wonderful thing ever. So, and that's why now that is my favorite song, and I have her sing it to me
On Mother's Day, yep. She sung it on
Mother's Day, on my birthday. But yeah, it was just really, really touching.
I feel like she should sing it right now, right, Mama?
Tanya from 2-9.
Oh,
And Sarah. Okay, Sarah.
2-9.
2-9. So is Kimberly sitting next to you?
She is.
Kim, do you want to come on and say something?
She said, no, she's actually having dinner right now.
Is my son there, my nephew's son?
He walked back to his room, I believe.
Oh, okay. Well, I just wanted to give other people an opportunity to say hello. I know Dad is not going to come on whether he's there or not.
Right. He's probably coming on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you have another question?
What was your most, proud performance of Kelly that she did that you were like blown away by her performance when you know like this, she really had it?
Wow. That, I think there was a play, I think maybe at Georgia State.
Mm-hmm.
You and this young lady were battling it out for
Luminosity.
Luminosity. Yeah, that's when I knew she had it, because in the play she wasn't really, I guess, the main character, but she was the main character. So yeah.
Yeah, and then she commits to have a how many times I've seen this play battle with another mother, because we did a Q&A afterwards, and I think her mom stood up and was like, hi, I want to say it was Tia's mom, and she was like, I've been to I don't know, let's say she was like, I've been to 7 performances, and I just want to say, like, you know, I really enjoyed it, whatever. And then you can do it. And then and then my mom stood up and was like, hello, I am Kelly JENRETTE's mom, and I have been to the play 11 times. And I was like, it's not a competition.
Well, I always like to come every time, because there could always be something different that happens, and I just enjoy seeing her perform, and I really love to hear her sing. I really, really do.
Thank you. We have a question from a bad singer. I am KO. She will knock you out with her voice. It's amazing. She said, what was your scariest moment as a parent supporting Kelly's career?
When she left to go to California all by herself, and packed up and said she wanted to go, and she left. So that was my scariest moment. Yeah.
And how did you cope with that?
Well, probably for a couple of days, almost like I coped with when Kimberly left to go to college. It was like, don't talk to me. I don't want anybody to talk to me. I'm not in a good mood. My child is gone. So yeah, don't talk to me. That sort of like that.
Wow.
You know? And then I think we communicated quite a bit. You did, you know, you were good at calling, and, you know, and then I had other distractions because I still had children to tend to. So I think that helped me a lot as well.
Mm-hmm.
What was the I don't even want to say quote, but what was the famous line that you gave me on the phone when I was dating Kelly? What was that you told me?
Ooh. Oh. Okay, I don't know. But I think you may be referring to the fact that there is no return.
No.
No, not that.
When you said I better be who I say I am, something like that.
That was the first time that he proposed. So and we did a Google Hangout with you and Dad.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Because she is definitely who she says she is, and she is her mother's daughter.
That is.
And wasn't it something you said that I would have to deal with you if I didn't?
Well, what she said was, I just hope you are who you say, who you claim you are, because if you're not, all you need to worry about is me answering the police when they ask me what color jumpsuit I want to wear when I go to dance. That's what she said. So yeah.
And so far, I haven't had to get a jumpsuit, Melvin.
No, and let's hope that remains. We'll see how much longer this quarantine is going to happen, and that will inform a lot of things as well. So yeah,
absolutely.
And that the great thing is about, you know, we both have great mothers that support us, and they are pretty much the backbone of who we are as people. And I think that the biggest thing is always trying to make our parents proud, even though our parents are going to be proud most times. But it's like, it's easier when you can be proud of your kid of doing something that a great performance where you're not just being proud of them because they're up there, you know, you're clapping them on. People are telling the kids that they're doing great when they're really not. Like, how does it feel to not have to lie to your kid about them being great?
Well, you know, so let me just interject because she did lie early on. At the Brian Vista, the talent competitions, some of those things, I was like, that's terrible.
Well, it's terrible to you now, but it was terrible to you then.
Let's be honest. You were supporting, just like kids will come up with a drawing, and they're like, oh my God, look. You know, Evelyn has a drawing and like, look at what this is. And I'm like, I don't know what that is. It's an elephant. No, it's not.
Well, I think that to a parent, unless something is just really, really bad, it's your child and it's good. I don't think the one thing that she did that, and I still came, but under the dark, out of the dark. What was it, Kelly? Out of the Darkness, I think, or something like that. It was the longest play in the world. That was.
Is it still going on right now?
And every time we went to see it, it got longer and longer. And then,
we love you, Nada. If you see this, we love you.
Yes, we do. We love you. But then there was going to be a Q&A afterwards. It's like, please don't anybody ask any questions. You want to go home. But I still came.
You did. Repeatedly.
Repeatedly.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Well, I love you, Mommy, and
I love you more.
And here they go.
No, we're not going anywhere. All right. So that's fine. That's fine. That is a picture of child abuse. That's what child abuse looks like. Everyone. That's what child abuse looks like. She left me on that, whatever that thing was, a pig, monkey. Hey, Miss India. And you can't really see my face. But I was miserable. I was probably very terrified.
I don't think so. This was a ride.
Scoot it over.
Which way?
McDonald's. Yeah. You can go closer.
Yeah.
You can go in more.
To ride this.
Okay, bring it closer, and then a little closer. That doesn't look like, thank you. That doesn't look like joy at all. That don't look like, oh, this is my favorite ride. It was not. Connie, don't do it. It was not. It was unacceptable. Okay. And I think this was before DFAX was around.
You were a very happy child. You had a wonderful childhood.
Well, on part 2, we can get into how during the summer, you dressed me in a fur coat, and my sister had on a tank top and shorts, taking a picture, and my sister's like, ah, and I'm like, yeah, because I was hot. But that's fine. We can talk about that later.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I love you, Mommy.
I love you.
And I thank you for being one of my biggest fans. This guy's the other. You were my first biggest fan. So I love you, and I appreciate all of your prayers and support that you have given, all of that. So thank you for coming on this live. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago. It was a joke when Melvin was like, well, who do you want to have come on? I was like, my mom. And he was like, later on, he said, who do you want to have come on? I was like, I said, my mom. And he was like, would she do it? And I was like, I don't know, I'll ask. And so I did. And after she got over the giggles, she agreed to come on. So
thank you for doing an amazing job raising this one. And you're welcome, because, I took it off your hands. There you go.
Ooh. Okay. It's starting so good, Melvin.
I know. So this will be the last Mel and Kel show. Thank you all so much for tuning in. All right, Mama. Love you.
All right.
Love
you.
Okay. Your mama's on live. What? The Heels are in the house. Janae, and Miss Renee, and Reverend Hill.
Oh, wow. Hello.
Where's Brandon?
At work.
Oh, he's at work.
Working.
Yeah.
All right, y'all.
Bye, Mom.
Right.
Bye, Mom. Huh?
I just said, oh, bye.
Okay. We got you. She's like, I don't know what to do. All right.
We are bringing on a fabulous, phenomenal woman of God.
Dynamic.
What's going on? I got to give you your introduction.
How you come in frozen looking perfect? Like, no, who does that?
Hey, Ray.
Hey, Ray.
Is it working?
Oh, yo,
It's a little spotty, but every time it catches you, you're like, no, you're still frozen. Well,
she having no Wi-Fi. Well, while she's doing that, I'm gonna introduce this amazing woman. She is a TV producer, veteran network executive, motivational speaker, founder and CEO of EKS Consulting. She was named one of the top female executives in Hollywood by Essence. She has had 15 years of entertainment television experience. She has produced shows for VH1, CBS, NBC, HGTV, and she was the vice president of OWN. I want you guys to welcome the talented and amazing, our sister, India, Kinney Stearns. Oh, where my wife go? She left.
I'm coming.
Your Wi-Fi.
Is it working?
No.
Sorry. There it is. Wait. What's going on, India? She's having some technical difficulties.
We can hear you. We can see you.
Is it working?
Yeah, there you go. All right, there we go. God is good.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, your volume just happened again. What did you?
Are you serious?
There you go. Now, yeah, there you go. All right.
Okay.
What's going on, sis?
What's up? Listen, I was mad because I was hoping I could be on with your mom and sing her a happy birthday song again.
Please don't make me
She like, was she serious? Was she for real?
Inside joke. I sang Kelly's mom on her birthday, and we have this running joke where we always sing really badly on purpose. But I didn't know that her mom wasn't in on the joke. So when I was singing very poorly, her mother was like, do I say thank you? It was so
Thank
bad.
you so much. That was different. Yeah.
So yeah, I was trying to warm up the pipes for her, but
yeah,
it's fine. I'll call her later.
she's probably good. Oh, India, she said you are wrong for that. Yeah, you had my mother tortured for like 2 weeks.
I felt so bad. It was supposed to be something fun and joyous, and she was like, "That's my daughter. I love her, but how do I tell her she can't sing?"
And then she should never sing for anyone ever.
Never in life.
In life, don't do it.
I'm not mad at that.
Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for jumping on to be a part of our show. We love you, appreciate you. We have some questions. We're gonna get right into it.
All right.
All right. Did you always have aspiration to be in the entertainment industry?
Yes. I thought I was gonna stay in front of the camera, because that's where I started. I was a child actor, and as I got older and I went to college, I got out of college and I gained the 20-pound thing, and I'm like, oh, I need a break. I need to try to lose this weight before I hop out and do some things. So then I took a hiatus, got back into the game, and realized things had changed from being a kid, because it became more about how I looked. Like I could really do the part, but then it'd be like, oh, you're too short. Oh, you may be a little too dark for this. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. Like, it's not even about my gifts. It's more about a look. And I just, at the time, there weren't a lot of opportunities out there either. And so I'm one of those people where I'm kind of practical. I'm like, you know what? I love acting, but the odds right now for me, I don't like them odds. I don't like one day I can eat ramen noodles, the other day I can eat steak. Like I'm not one of them people that's like, oh, I gotta just act because it's in me. It was more like, this is fun and I love it. And I love to have a career doing it, but there's something else going on here.
Yeah.
And so I started to really think about how can I affect change. That's really what it was, because I just got so tired of looking at the sides. It's the same thing, and then it's like 100 of me for the same role. And I said, you know, I want to be somebody behind the scenes that can say yes and no and affect change and be the tastemaker and really learn what that's like. Because I feel like I always have that gift, but I don't know the business of it. And so that started my journey on
how can I affect change? And that's really how I ended up being on the other side. And I started off as an intern at Edmonds Entertainment. They had just done Soul Food, the movie, and they had just gotten Soul Food on the Showtime series. And because I had grown up on sets and I'm reading scripts and I'm understanding character development and arcs of, like, you know, when you're getting into your character, you got to know everybody's character. You have to know the world. You have to know all of that. Storylines, where it's going, so you can be effective in your character. And so not realizing that created these gifts in me that I didn't know. So then when the scripts were coming across my desk to read, just because the intern has to do something, I'm making notes. They didn't ask me to. But I'm like, you know what, in the movie, I don't know why she would say that. And I'm making these notes. And I give them to the executive, and she's like, this is some really good story editing. Do you want to be an assistant story editor? I'm like, does it pay? And I'm pretty sure they probably paid me like $5, but it didn't matter. Because I was like,
right.
It pays. It's a job. I didn't even know it was a job. And that sort of started my career with being on the other side.
Nice.
You want me to keep going?
Or? No. So, how is the process of being behind the scenes, in the sense of, like, you know, you're developing programs, you're behind the scenes doing stuff before people even know, you know, about a show? Like, what is your process when you're getting stuff from beginning to finish?
Oh my gosh.
I know it's probably long, yeah, but if you can, you know.
I'll wrap it up. So I try to do it in like very condensed. The idea comes to me usually through like a producer or an agent, and they get these breakdowns, I guess you could say, of like what a network is looking for. So if I'm looking for a certain program, they bring it to me, and I'm like, okay, that works, that doesn't. There's so many things that go into a show being greenlit. It's not just enough that it's a great idea. It has to have the right people involved, the right auspices attached. It even has to come to me at the right time, meaning that what people don't know is every year there's a projection, right? Every year it's like, okay, we have these shows coming back, and I have 2 or 3 spots for next year to fill. 2 or 3, right? And am I losing you?
Yeah, sorry. Can you tell in our face? We're like,
I have 2 or 3 spots. Mm-hmm. Oh no, is it?
You're good.
Okay.
No, you're good. We're good now.
Okay, I have 2 or 3 spots that have to be filled. So, and I'm looking for a specific project. It could be, hey, I'm looking for a game show. Hey, I'm looking for a unscripted ensemble docuseries with women from blah blah blah. But I may get 10 of the same project, and I have to pick 1 out of the 10. And how do I pick that one? It could be a myriad of things. Sometimes the characters are better. And I'm talking about unscripted at this point. Development is better. The access to what I need is quicker. So then they get the green light. And then once it's greenlit, I got to get everybody in the network excited about it. Before it gets greenlit, it's not enough for me to be excited. Marketing has to say, oh, we can market that. Scheduling has to say, oh, that could go great behind this show. Social media, everybody has to come in agreement and say, wow, we can make this show a hit. It's good on its own, but how do we build it out for it to really hit what we want it to hit? There's so many things. So then once they get on board, then I got to make it. I got to develop it. I got to make sure that what I bought in the room is being executed while it's out in the field. I got to go to shoots. And then I get the tapes in. I got to make notes on that. Sometimes 3 and 4 and 5 rounds of notes before one episode is checked off. I go through the graphics. I go through casting. I go through all of it. All of it. And then once it's made, then I got to work with those same departments to make sure that they are executing the show properly. It's crazy because people know what they're doing, but sometimes what happens is the different departments don't talk. So you'll see it sometimes in a movie, right? A movie is made, then the trailer has nothing to do with what the movie is. Because somebody didn't talk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the same with TV. If me, the creative executive, I don't have a good relationship with my marketing team, or we're not talking, they're going to take from it what they think. They haven't seen all the episodes. They're just taking the hottest beats of what they think it should be. And then they create something and market something that's not even what the show is. So I'm a part of the process from beginning all the way to the end. To the last episode is aired.
You talked about like needing 3 slots to fill and you know 3 different types of shows that you're looking for. One, how would someone know what it is that you're looking for? Is that research that they can do on their own to find out what it is that you are looking for or the particular network is looking for? And then what is that? Well, let you answer that first.
Well, here's the thing. Like, if you don't have an agent and you just have an idea that you're trying to get out there, I can't really I can't even hear your idea if you don't have representation. And the reason why is because it protects me and it also protects you. I can't tell you how many of my colleagues have been, you know, deposed because and somehow this happened, or somebody told somebody that came into the room. And so what happens is, if you're represented, those agents have relationships with the networks and they know what's coming through and what's not. So then I'm covered because the agent is the one saying, I'm signing off, this happened, this is what we talked about. So if you have an idea and you're not represented, the best thing that you can do is go to a production company. Find a production company that does the same type of programming that you have. If you have a great show and it's sort of American Idol type show, look at the production company that does that show. Reach out to them. They have submissions on their website. Reach out and try to get generals with somebody. But that is your best way to get into the door to a network executive. And the reason why agents know what we're looking for is because we send out these network like updates. Agents call us once or twice a week saying, what are you looking for? What's going on? And then I have relationships with agents where I'm like, hey, I was just in a meeting. Things have changed. I need this. What do you have? And they'll reach out to their production companies and producers and say, oh my gosh, they just came out with this idea. I'm going to shoot you the information and we're going to set a meeting. That's how it works. And so, and then you have to think about it this way from a business perspective. If on average a show that I'm greenlighting is upward of $4 or $5 million, would I give you $4 or $5 million if you've never done a show? Like, would that make sense?
I mean, to me, yeah, because I want $4 or $5 million. But like, no.
Yeah, no. You see what I'm saying? And then on top of that, it's no guarantee that it's going to hit. So me as an executive, I'm going, and again, I just told you, I've got to convince everybody in the network why I think this show is going to. And if I come and I'm saying, JJ came in and pitched me said show, we're going to give him $5 million. And listen, it's a great show. They're going to be like, well, what has he done? What is his production company? Can he support the bandwidth? What is his back end? Does he have support? Can he execute? You're going to give him $5 million to do a show and we only have 3 slots and you're going to bank it on this guy who has a great idea?
It's tricky.
Tricky. So that's the thing. Like, people have to think it's not about trying to keep people out or trying to keep people down. It really is business. But the people who are really want to do their best and put their best forward, they're tenacious. They inform themselves, and they make meetings. They have meetings and they make friends and they reach out and they build these relationships that allow them to move forward. And really, production companies are always looking for ideas. They are.
What was your role in Unsung?
Oh, you cut out. What is
what? I said, what was your role in Unsung? The whole putting it
on
the show.
That is literally my favorite. My favorite of all the shows I've ever done. I had come to TV One. Rose Catherine Pinckney was head of programming, and she was like, listen, I need somebody to head up my LA office. We're fairly new. Nobody knows who we are. They keep calling us Channel One. You have great relationships with production companies, we need some shows that are going to help define us for people to know who we are. So I get there and it's just me and did you guys watch Talk to Me?
Yes.
The movie with Don
Yeah.
Cheadle?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so
Oh, I was like, no, I haven't seen it.
Petey Green.
well,
Petey
the
Green.
guy, you know, that was about Radio One,
Right.
ultimately the same people that own TV One. Well, the guy, Dewey, was my neighbor. Like he was my office mate, right? So he was next door to me. So it was me, Dewey, and this one guy, Jeff Meyer. He's a Caucasian guy who actually helped build the business plan for TV One. Nobody would know that, and knows more about Black culture than any Black person I've ever met in my life. And he's very unassuming. He is like white boy, like just as straight as like no flavor whatsoever. But he starts talking and you're like, oh my God, and who do you know? Oh my God, and that like he knows everything. So we were sitting and I was like, you know, I came from the world of VH1. That was my first real executive job as a network exec. And I grew up in the era of behind the music and understanding that in order to really brand a network, tell stories that other people don't know how to tell, that fit your the best legal help brand your network. So I was talking and he was like, I got this idea unsung, and he was going down the list of like stories that he knew about various artists across the board, gospel, R&B, like from the 60s all the way to the present. I was like, how do you know all this stuff? And he was like, yeah, there's a show here. And I'm like, okay, let's talk. And so we just kind of talked it out. And I'm like, okay, let's do this twist. And then act one, let's do this. And we sat in his office and developed the show.
Wow.
And then he was like, I've been trying to get them to do something in music, but they won't do it. It's too expensive. And this is where relationships come in. So I said, listen, I just did a show with A. Smith and Company called American Gangster at BET when I was overseeing it. They have the bandwidth, they have the infrastructure, they can do it, and they can execute well. If I call in a favor, they may say yes for a price, and let's see what happens. So I called my really good friend, Frank Sitton, and I said, Frank, can you do this for $5? And then in success, you're gonna make millions. And he was like, India, for you, I'll take a swing. And later he told me he didn't tell his partner, because his partner would have been like, hell no. You know? So he did it, and we did our first 4, and they blew up. And then literally, I've been gone from TV One for years, and it's still on the air. It's gone in like 12 seasons. It's won like 6 or 7 NAACP Image Awards. It's that spinoff. Like, it was everything that we hoped for it to be. And so we're very proud of it.
Congratulations.
Yeah, and I think that's the tricky part, where it's like, you know, do you have the leeway to be for someone else what that guy was for Unsung? You know what I mean? Where it's like, or was it because, did this guy have credits? You know, like, what was it? Was it your relationship? Was it you bringing it to the guy to try to get, you know, try to get it up? Like, what was it about this particular project that got the green light?
I think because we did a really good job internally of expressing the importance of telling these stories in a way that nobody else could or would. Like, when you think about Unsung, where else could it fit during that time? Who else was going to do a show like that? So internally, they were like, yeah, but it costs a lot of money to get music licensing and access to some of these people. Like, you really have to go to a production company who's done a show like this, who have relationships with music licensing groups and knows how to engage talent. And so because I had done a show similarly already with this company, I was comfortable. I knew that they could execute. And because of the working relationship that we had, he trusted me as an executive to know that I was going to push it and it wouldn't be not for him.
Okay. So just goes back to relationships.
That's it.
Now, you were honored at the 4th annual Gospel Goes to Hollywood, and you gave an amazing speech that actually blessed my life that day. I believe I had an audition
Oh,
to go
thank you,
to,
Melvin.
and I chose to stay because I was just like, God spoke to my spirit of staying. You talked about the height of your career, and then you also talk about the low. Talk about, if you can talk about the height, and then also talk about the low, so people understand that you're not going to be on the mountain forever. Like you got to be,
No.
you're gonna fall at some point.
Well, yeah, I think in anything that you do, there's ebbs and flows, right? And I think that, you know, what people don't understand is that when you're in the valley, that's the best part sometimes, because that's where you find out not only what you're made of, but reaffirming and reassuring and rechecking why you're doing what you're doing. And for me, when I got to the pinnacle of my career and I'm making all this money and I'm on magazines and getting awards, I lost sight of my why. My original why, if you remember, was I wanted to affect change. I wanted to help people. And by doing so, giving glory to God for the gifts he's given me. You know, so I was like, you know what? I have the gift of story. I have the gift to engage. I have the gift of communication. I'm going to use this to affect other people, to allow other opportunities for people. Like, that's what drove me. But in success, then it became more about me. It was, how do I keep this going? I have to get these ratings. I have to do this because I got to keep my job. And I wanted people to know. And here's the thing. I didn't tell myself that. I wasn't leading with that. It was in here. It was in here, and it manifested in a way where now my peace was gone because all of my validation was wrapped up in my title and my money and my success of what people said it was. So that's gonna keep me on the hamster wheel, because now I need that. I need that, right? Whereas before it was more like, okay, I'm in the room. Here's an opportunity. How do I help? That's a different posture. So if I know that my heart is in the right posture, my peace is different. But when it's about me, I don't have peace because everything rests on me, not God. So God was so loving in 2010, after the collapse of the industry, of the financial industry, and the stock market crash. It hit entertainment in 2010. So whole networks were gone. I don't know if you remember this. Departments gone. Like, it was crazy just how horrible it was. People like just lost jobs. I was so confident that it wouldn't be me because I'm the hit maker. You know what I mean? Like, I'm out here making stuff happen. You know what I mean? So
popping your
when
collar.
I got correct. Yeah. So when I got pulled into the office and told that they're going a different direction, I was like, what direction we going in? You know, I didn't understand what they were saying. And then it was like, no, we're going to make a pivot and focus more on, you know, other things. And that means that we got to phase out some of these senior level positions, and yours is one. And I was like, okay, this is fantastic. And so at the time, I was like, oh, we're good, because I got 3 other networks want me. Style was one, Sci-Fi was one, E was one. And I was like, I'm good. You know, we good. You know, my husband's good. Like, he's doing music for all these shows. And I mean, we good. So it's just a matter of time before I get to sign on one of these dotted lines, you know. And it didn't happen. God was like, no, this is a bigger thing. And so 1 month goes by, 3 months go by. We're still spending, like, yeah, it's a matter of time. Then I get a call. The president lost his job. It's a hiring freeze. I'm like, oh, now we're down to 2. It's cool. You know, next one, the entire network is gone. So therefore there's no job.
No job.
That was Style. Okay, moving on. All right. God, you made it. I didn't have to pick. You picked it for me. Won't you do it? And then that call happened, that hiring freeze and no job for you. And then I went into panic mode, right? I was like, and then you go into the self-righteous mode of like, Lord, I'm not like them. I'm always looking out for people. I've been going hard in the paint for you. Such and such is winning, and they hate people, and they're rude, and they're mean, and they lie. They lie. I don't even lie, Lord. And you got me in these streets looking like Job. Like, what is happening? You know, and I'm in my feelings, thinking that's gonna move God, and it didn't. And it wasn't until I really humbled myself and and allow God to show me what was in my heart. And he was like, just the fact that all this is gone and you don't even know who you are is a problem. Like if I, you know, and he asked me questions in those quiet times. It was like adversity. He was using adversity to ask me, you know, who are you? You know, what drives you? What defines you? You know, and the bottom line is, if those answers are not God, if they're not Christ, then you're in trouble. And at that time, it wasn't. It was my title, my money. That's what defines me, and I'm gonna need you to get it back. Now we got it. I understand, and maybe I put this before you. It's fine, but give me my stuff back. Stop playing games. Like I was doing, like my kids. Like I got the lesson. I got it. Oh yeah, I was a little like I could have been more humble. You right, Lord. You right. Okay, I got it. Not just give it back. We good.
Yeah.
He didn't.
It didn't work.
9 months later, I had to downsize my house. I had to go to one car. I had to take one of my kids out of school. And during the time, it was painful. But at the very end, as I was
let's say private school, we don't want the people to think you took your kids away out of school completely.
Oh no. Let's be clear. It was ridiculous. Like I was paying college tuition for these knuckleheads to go to preschool. It was dumb.
Yeah.
You know, it was dumb. So. But, you know, it was all wrapped up in that whole thing, right? And I remember packing up my beautiful kitchen with the island that stretched from here to Kingdom Come.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember saying, Lord, I will never put any of this before you again. I don't care if I have to drive a hoopty to get where you want me to be. If that's going to keep people from wanting to work with me or think a certain way, then I don't need to be working with them anyway. And you're going to bring me any and everybody that I need to do what it is that you've called me to do. So I no longer care about what other people say or think because I don't answer to them. And if I know that my heart and my intention is for his glory and his purpose, then I'm good. And when I tell you that once I got that lesson, he blessed me so in ways that I cannot imagine, that I couldn't have never imagined. I'm in my little townhome with my kids, and you know, you lie, you just up saying, I'm doing this for the kids. And we're closer together. They had to share a room. They didn't care. They were just happy we were together. They had more of me. They had more time with me. And it just grew us to a whole nother level. And I was just so grateful and thankful for that. And the only reason why we moved from that townhome, because I didn't care how much money I was making. We weren't moving. I didn't care. And then there was like a natural disaster that happened where we live. It was like a gas leak and we ended up moving. And that's the only reason why we moved. But it was such a great lesson for me because I no longer cared. I didn't. And I'm not going to say that that thing doesn't creep up every now and then. But the difference is that now I know what it is and I can arrest it and I can put it in its proper place and remove it. And that is the beauty of the lesson.
That's awesome.
And then after that, I ended up getting one of the best jobs in my life, which was heading up programming for the Oprah Winfrey Network as a VP.
For what network? What was that?
The Oprah Winfrey Network.
Oh, okay. You cut out a little bit. Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
Well, you had your hand in Raising Whitley, Shanice and Flex, and shows like that.
Yeah, Dion's Family Playbook.
Right.
And before we I just want to say, if people have any questions for India, you can just either put them in the chat or use the little question box here. You can put them there. Miss 1 in a Billion said she was Phil Duke's assistant and India was over his projects at OWN. She's so official and inspiring as a female executive.
Thank you.
She alright.
So sweet.
And
thank you, Teflon Don. I don't know if you're still on here. Thank you.
The beautiful thing is that, we know you as our sister, and but out in the world, people have the same respect and love for you that we do because how you are so caring. We know that you go above and beyond. That's just who you are.
Don't make me cry, Mel.
How do you make sure that you continue to be a blessing to each and every person that you come in contact with, where you give time to them where other executives wouldn't?
You know what, honestly, and I truly believe it's because of my intention. I set my intention every day. And I respect what people have to go through. to get where they're going. Like, I truly try to put myself in other people's shoes. of how hard it is to try to get your idea out there, how hard it is to communicate, how hard it is to, you know, so I empathize with that. And that's truly from my obedience to God. That's nothing else, you know, understanding that the only reason why I'm there is to serve other people in the best way that I can and use all my gifts to glorify him and bless others. And so whatever the situation is, I'm going to give that because ultimately I owe an account to him.
Right.
And so that's what keeps me thinking I'm not bigger than anything. This is him. I'm here for him. And wherever he wants me is where I'm going to be. It has nothing to do with me. So if I stay humble in that way, I'm going to always be my best for you because I'm trying to be my best for God.
Absolutely.
Amen. So,
I'm
know,
not saying I hit the mark every time.
that's correct. I will answer that for you.
What we not going to do.
Okay. No, I'm just trying to like support you, you know, 2 or 3 witnesses thing. So in this time of like pandemic and especially with artists, they're like, I need to create, I got to do something. Like, what would you tell artists to be doing during this time?
Listen, and I get it because I'm literally one of those people that's got to always be doing something. And one thing that's been helping me is setting my intention every morning still, but being really clear about, Lord, what do you want me to do today? Give me my daily bread, because I'll be trying to do too much and feeling like I got all this time. I got to write 20 novels and I got to do 3 scripts and then I got to do 5 pitches, you know, and that can drive you nuts. But when you really just quiet yourself in the morning and really ask God to give you direction for your day, he will tell you what to do. He will put things in your spirit to do. Sometimes days is just like, don't do nothing. Just relax. Just quiet your mind. Just read a book.
But why is that important? Like how, because sometimes people equate being still with laziness. Like, what is the importance of quieting yourself?
Here's a perfect example. When I don't do that, I am exhausted. I'm not at my fullest capacity. I always feel like I'm never getting anything done. And it's because I haven't set a goal for the day. I'm just setting goals. Right? I'm just going. And so when you don't spend time to reset and refocus your mind and filter out what's really important and prioritize, you will forever be on the hamster wheel going nowhere, sweating, mad, because you ain't going nowhere. But when you quiet yourself, it is truly realigning your mind and your spirit and your body to say, I just need to refuel. I just need to reset. Let me get back to the why of what I'm doing so that I can be more goal-oriented and have a real set goal for what I'm doing, a realistic goal for what I'm doing. And that way I can make sure that I am present and prepared for what it is that I'm trying to do. And I'm talking about myself because that is a struggle for me. It is. Like, I have goals and I'm like, I got to get this, and this, and this, and this done. But if I don't say, okay, that's going to take me this amount of time, that's going to take me this amount of time, let me move this over. And then on the days that I make sure that I set my intention in the morning, God will be like, that ain't really due until another week from now. And you ain't going to really pitch that until 2 weeks from now. So why is that up in this week? You know, but it's the Holy Spirit that's like, no, today, I don't want you to do nothing because then I can speak to you. You can relax. You can be clear. And then I can even give you ideas that you didn't even know you had. You may be working on old stuff that is passé, that's gone. And I want to give you something fresh and new. And that only comes from spending time with God and allowing him to download and just speak to your spirit. Because when you don't reset and you don't spend that time, you're going to be going crazy. You are. You just are. And when you find yourself doing that, now you know why.
Quick question for you.
But wait, hey, Justin. Hi, buddy. Sorry.
So,
and there's a question.
I know. So you being the founder and CEO of EKS consulting firm, explain to people, what do you do as far as consulting and what do you offer?
Well, I work with networks and studios to help develop and produce projects. The only difference from what I did before and what I do now is I work for myself. So I'm not beholden to any one place. I get to work with multiple places at different times on different projects. And that was my goal, so that I could be able to do things on my own and have a little bit more autonomy, and more flexibility, and be able to be more creative, and also own my own ideas. Because when you work for corporations and networks, you don't own any of your ideas.
Mm-hmm.
And so after a while, you know, TV1, Unsung, like, I don't have any back end on that. I did my job as a network executive. I developed a show and gave it away, you know? So after many years of doing that, I'm like, you know what? You know, and it is a trade-off, you know, you do when you work for yourself, it is a trade-off, but I'm really grateful for that. So that's what I do. And every now and then someone may have an idea. And if I think that it's worth putting a lot of time into and leveraging my relationships to try to develop, I do that. I don't do very many because it's very time consuming, but if it's a great idea with like a great piece of talent or something that hasn't been done before, that's out of this world, and I'm like, oh my God, there's something there, then I will move forward and working into a development deal with that person.
Awesome. This question is, how long do you recommend staying in one position? I've heard 2 to 3 years max. For example, PA to executive assistant to coordinator to director, etc.
You know what? It's so tricky because some places, it just depends on where you are. I say you stay in a place until you can't grow anymore. Once you feel like you've learned as much as you can, it's time to move on. If there's no upward mobility where you are, start looking for somewhere else to go. And I can't tell you that that's happened to me a couple times. There's places where I just grew and grew and grew, and it was great because that environment fostered that. And there's other places where they were very clear, there's no upward mobility for you, so this is what it is. When you cannot grow anymore, when there's nothing more for you to learn, it's time to move.
What is something that you would want to lead to
Hey, brother.
a young person in this industry, or just kind of simple advice you try to give people as they walk along in this business?
What kind of advice I would say? I would say, like I said before, set your intention, know why you're doing what you're doing. Because here's the deal. If you don't have a bigger reason for why you're doing or understanding what you're doing and why, the industry will eat you up. It doesn't care about you. So you'll find yourself compromising in ways that you didn't think you would because you're after something like validation, fame, people knowing your name, and that's just, it's like, why? You know what I mean? But if you know you have a gift and a talent and you just want to bless others with it, that's what's going to keep you driven. So if you are acting great, that's great. And you love it, write your stuff. Like, you know, you don't have to wait for somebody else to write stuff with you, or partner with somebody that's going to develop something that's going to pull out something in you that you know will bless other people, that you can put out and inspire and encourage people with what you have. You don't have to just wait for somebody to give you the perfect part. And I think that's why people burn out, because they're just waiting for that big break. And it's like, well, what does that mean? There's a lot of people with Oscars who aren't working right now.
Right.
There's a lot of people with Grammys who can't get a record deal right now. So you can't look for that to validate you or other people to validate you. You have to have something bigger in mind. And that means God gave me these gifts. What else can I do with them to bless others and glorify him? Because that way, you know you're doing something bigger that's going to push you to strive for something even greater than what you even thought you could do or be. That is what I can tell you. Because I know a lot of wealthy people who are not successful. If your home life is raggedy and all you can do is your vices to keep you together, that's not success.
But what's another thing you can tell me? Can you tell me if you and Kelly are going to do something together very soon?
I think we should. We have a couple things we've been working on.
You know,
Kelly.
we about to run out of time.
Okay.
But when I tell you India is, you know, she a powerful woman, but a little like, you know, sometimes I just be like, God, can you just give me some really normal, regular
What we're not gonna do is that. That's what we're not gonna do.
But seriously, and Bashir, I don't know what this Leon Robinson is he gonna do above the rim too. We got 20 seconds left, so we'll answer that next time, I guess. But thank you so much for joining us, Mrs. India.
I love you guys so much. You know, you're my sister and brother. I love you so much. Thank you. I'm honored. Thank you for having me.
Of
Thank you.
course.
Love you.
Love you.
Love you.
Thanks for tuning in, guys.